Yes,
All right, guys, let's settle down. Hey, settle down! This is a playoff-like atmosphere. There is a ton at stake right now, and all that we have done, all that we've worked for, all the tears, all the sweat, all of the late nights, all of the dirty diapers. Taylor, where you at?
Yes, sir.
What do you do when your kid throws a temper tantrum at HEB?
Give him what he wants so he'll shut up and stop bothering me.
Wrong! Shepherd their heart, not their behavior. Edwards, what do you do when the chores don't get done?
Just let my wife do it. It's faster.
Wrong! Promote personal responsibility and a Godward orientation.
It sounds difficult.
What? What are you gonna do when you got a 26-year-old man-child in your basement, doesn't have a job, playing video games, taking up all your Netflix queue? Does that sound like a good plan? No, not now, Jerry, no. Williams,
Hang on. Yes, sir.
what do you do when your kid gives you lip?
You give him lip right back.
Wrong! Teach them to submit to authority.
Hey, you submit to authority, man.
Jerry, still not now. This right now, this is our house. This is your house. This is what you need. Jerry, now would be the time. All right, let's go. Let's get out here and let's go shepherd the heck fire out of these kids. Let's go.
Man, if a coach could just show up at my house from time to time saying, come on now, get in there and fight, you know? I mean, come on, parent those kids. I mean, that's what we need from time to time is a parenting pep talk because from time to time, I don't know about you, maybe you have young kids and it hasn't hit yet, but I've got teenagers and beyond, and I'm telling you, from time to time, it's a bit discouraging out there, even for the pastor, okay? And so we're going to talk over the next couple of weeks about what it takes to really encourage our lives as parents to really understand what God has in mind for us and for our children. So I'm excited about this because I'm a learner in this. Every time I figured it out, our kids got older. And just as I was getting it, our kids moved beyond a certain stage that I understood. And so I had to relearn everything. And so it's just really, really exciting. And I know this is true for here at the Richmond campuses and also in Missouri City. So for the next few weeks in Missouri City as well, we're going to be doing Parent Pep Talk. And you're going to be getting some great insights on what it means to parent your kids the way God would encourage you to parent them. And you're going to learn a ton. So tell your friends because this is really helpful stuff. All right? So let me just give you a little bit of background for me. Most of you know my story, but I've got 4 children. Our parenting journey started in January of 1992 when Keaton was born. Now he's 20 years old, and he's a University of Texas in Dallas student. He's a sophomore there. Dylan is 18 years old, and he's graduating in a few weeks from high school, and he couldn't be happier. I'm telling you, the kid is so excited about graduating high school. And this summer, by the way, I'm going to my 30-year high school reunion, so that tells you, man, things are changing, okay? Then we have 16-year-old twins, Madison and Matthew, and they're juniors over at Austin High School. And so when our twins were born, we had 4 children, 3 years old and younger. We had 4 children in car seats. We had 3 children in diapers. It was my own personal Vietnam. I mean, it was an amazing thing. So I was thinking about this parent pep talk in terms of parenting as a sport. And for me, parenting would be an extreme sport because there's no sleep, it's constant movement, loud noises, shocking revelations at times, you know. And so this extreme sport of parenting, it really weighs on you. And it starts really simple enough, right? You get a kid that's in the doorstop phase, right? You bring them home from the hospital and they're sort of immobile and they're like a doorstop. You just put them there, you go away, you come back, they're still there, okay? That's as easy as it gets, folks, right there. But then they start to grow. And we knew we were in trouble. Lisa came home one day. I came home, and Lisa was telling me the story of the day. And we had 2 children at that time. And she was trying to tell me what an awful day that she had. And so I thought, well, what could have happened? And one of our kids had just been potty trained. So you know where this is going, okay? And so she had just been potty trained, and he was on the other side of that deal. And she was at McDonald's, and she was taking the kids to McDonald's. And when she was taking the kids to McDonald's, our child that just was potty trained decided that he needed to go to the bathroom. So she's stuck because we got three other kids, and this one kid wants to go to the bathroom. So she walks him to the door. She moves all of her stuff to the table right by the bathrooms, walks him to the door, and he wants to go by himself because he's independent and he's 3, right? He knows what he's doing. So she gives him the talk about what not to touch, right? What not to do, just go in there, go to the bathroom, come back. Yell if you need me. So she gets busy with the twins who are on this carry things, and then Keaton and all that stuff is there going around, and she didn't really realize, and she realized a lot of time has gone by, and this child has not come out from the bathroom. And just then, she looks up to see this boy shuffling out of the bathroom with his pants at his ankles. And before she could move, because she's so close to the bathroom, he bends over and says, "Wipe me." Thank you. Yes. Yeah. He says that loud. She's mortified. She's got kids everywhere, you know. Try to get that image out of your head, okay? He's 3. And so I was thinking, what does this really mean in terms of parenting? Because Solomon here has given us great wisdom on training up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. So I want to break that down for you just a little bit so that you'll be encouraged to not lose hope in this parenting adventure, okay? So if you've got really small children, you've got a lot of hope. And if you've got teenagers, you have less hope, okay? And so somewhere along the continuum, there is this training up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. So I want to give you a couple things. The first phrase here is train up a child in the way he should go. I want you to take that phrase and think about it for just a minute. Train up a child in the way he should go. Okay, here's what God's telling us to do. He's telling you and I, if we're parents, he's telling us this is a call to your responsibility. We understand the end part of this deal, that there's going to be a good positive result of this proverb, but the first part of the proverb is really important. This is the part where the coach is saying, get in the game. You know, train up a child. I mean, get in the game. I mean, when you're training, you don't train by accident. You got to be purposeful. And if you're really going to be effective in any kind of athletic training, you're going to have to be strategic. Because I know you've been like me and you said, okay, I got to exercise. And you just go out there and run forever until you just have more energy than sense. And then 2 days later, or for me, a day and a half later, you're done with that. You know, it's just like, forget it. You know, it's called as a sense of long-term strategic. You cannot rely on just what you know or what you feel. You're going to have to respond to this call to training. You're going to have to get into the game and take on your responsibility. This is a verse talking to parents. You cannot, here's what I'm saying, folks, you cannot outsource this. You're going to have to do this. You cannot outsource parenting your children to your daycare center, to your school, or to your church. You can't do it. In other words, if your child doesn't get the proper training, it is your responsibility. It's your fault. And so that's a heavy responsibility. I get parents from time to time in our youth. Their teenager is in trouble, and so they want me to fix it in our youth program. You know, can't your youth department do something? No, they live with you. They live here at the church, maybe, but they don't. They live with you, and it's that kind of deal where you got to figure out who's really responsible for this. Now, the church is a great tool. It's a great asset. It's a great partner in what you're doing. Your school is a great partner. You know, your daycare center, if you use childcare, is a great partner. But they don't have the responsibility for training up your child. You do. And so you're going to have to accept that. You say, I'm on the team. I got to get my head in the game. I got to get in this game, and I got to take this seriously in this idea of training up a child. The next thing, it says here, in the way he should go. Now, there's two ways to look at this verse, and I looked at it in the Hebrew, and really the indication, obviously, initially, seems to be that you're giving direction to your child. This is the way you should go, right? But really the emphasis in the Hebrew is on the pronoun he. And so the idea here is train up a child in the way he should go, meaning his direction, his path is going to be different than anybody else's. That there's a uniqueness about every child. I have 4 children. They're all different. They're all crazy, but they're all different, you know? And so it's this idea that, yeah, there is this idea of training up a child the way he should go, but you have to be careful about this of saying, okay, I know what the way they should go, or he should go, or she should go, and so I'm going to take them in that direction. There are certain things that you know for every child applies, but that really the depth of this passage is about your child's uniqueness, and God's design for them is unique. So if you have an artist, you're going to have a hard time possibly getting them interested in football. You know, if you have somebody that loves to sing and loves the arts, that's where their heart is. And so train up a child in the way he should go, that path's different than every other path. So here's where I see a lot of these things come off the rails, is that you think you know what your child should do, be interested, and like. And that's the direction that you think he should go. That's not what this verse says. This verse is talking about you taking on the responsibility to give training to your child directionally, but that direction for that child is going to be unique and different. And so this idea of train up has come. What does that mean to train up? That's really our responsibility. Train up a child in the way he should go is this idea of training up. It's the idea of being purposeful, intentional. And I think the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about training up, and the Bible says training up, is time. You're going to have to spend time to do this well. And so if you're a busy parent, and we're all busy, we all just got out of a series talking about margins and space, right? But the idea here is if you're a busy parent and you don't have the time, then you're going to suffer in your training up your children. In other words, I've heard this, well, we don't spend a lot of quantity of time, but we spend a lot of quality time. And let me tell you, in my opinion, Google this because I may be wrong, but I really don't think that's possible. You cannot compensate the lack of quantity with quality. And here's why I don't think that's possible. The reason that's not possible is because you can't pre-program in times of connection, times of need, times of conversation, times of affection. I mean, you can't say, okay, we don't have much time, so let's make this count. Give me a hug. Let's talk about something serious. I mean, you just can't do it. You know, you can't really, and this is true. If you've got a daughter, I got a daughter. It takes a long time just to be around her to figure out what's going on. You know, I look in her eyes, are you crazy? Are you mad? Or are you sad? And so once that takes a long time, okay? And once I figure that out, I'm able to say, what's going on? What's wrong, you know? You know, you just can't jump in and go, and here's how, I'm an efficient person, you know, so it's like, okay, just tell me what's wrong, let's go. I only got a few minutes. This is quality time. We're having quality time right now, you know? It just doesn't work that way. God designed it, I believe this to be true, where children spell love T-I-M-E. That's it. You spending time with your kids doing nothing is more valuable than scheduled, programmed time that you think's better. Just doing, here's what I believe in. I believe in the sacred art of hanging out. Just doing nothing. I told you about my No Media Mondays, right? That is the boringest time we have in our week. And we just don't turn anything on. We just look at each other a lot. What's going on? You know, we had an epic battle yesterday of short arm fighting. It was incredible. It was amazing. I got beat every time. It's those kind of moments in time where you say, okay, this is going to require quantities of time, lots of time. So if you're under the challenge of traveling a lot in your company or working a lot in this busy season, you're going to have to look at your calendar and figure out what other things you're not going to have in your life. You're going to have to compensate for things you can't control with things you can control, so you'll spend tons of boring time with your kids, because that's where they'll start feeling love. So this idea of training up involves the idea of time. You got to spend time with your kids.